If you're a fiend for eggs, then here are the devilish cheeses, bits of meat, and spicy seasonings that will take your appetizer game to the next level. When making egg salad for sandwiches, it's common to include ingredients like pickle relish in the mix. The sweet variety creates a juxtaposition that makes both the sweet and the savory flavors stand out more than they would on their own. On the other hand, adding a bit of dill pickle relish adds a hit of savory and sour. In general, adding relish automatically adds more spices and seasonings to any recipe. So if your egg salad is feeling a little bland, relish is a smart option. If pickle relish tastes great in egg salad, then it stands to reason that it'll also dress up deviled eggs just as well. If this sounds like a smart idea to you, then simply start with your favorite classic deviled egg recipe and add a bit of your favorite pickle relish to it. Blend until everything is evenly distributed within the yolks, and then garnish with green onions. If you're looking to make your eggs more savory and salt just isn't going to cut it, then try something a little less run-of-the-mill in the form of chopped up olives. Since there are so many different kinds of olives, you could, in theory, use the same basic deviled egg recipe and have a multitude of different briny flavors depending on the variety you use in each batch. For example, mixing the brine from green olives into the yolks and mayo produces a pleasantly salty deviled egg, as does adding chopped up or sliced green olives to the top to garnish. Or if you're leaning more toward a Mediterranean approach, forgo the mayo and substitute olive oil instead. Then mix in Kalamata olives, black olives, or both. Finally, garnishing deviled eggs with chopped olives offers a variety of flavors in each bite without requiring you to mix the olives or olive brine into the yolks. The human body needs healthy fats to absorb important vitamins like vitamins A and E. Fortunately, the vegetable kingdom is filled with an assortment of delicious healthy fats, especially in the form of the avocado and its dip equivalent, guacamole. Simply put, the fatty content in either plain avocados or guacamole can add a delicious creaminess to deviled eggs that's also healthy to boot.
Well, they make everything better.
Adding avocado in any of its various forms also allows you to do away with the mayonnaise that most deviled egg recipes call for. When you add avocado to deviled eggs, you're introducing beneficial nutrients like potassium and magnesium, as well as vitamins K, C, and E. And while its nutritional makeup consists of 67% fat, most of that is monounsaturated. All in all, this adds up to a healthy and delicious new take on deviled eggs. If you want your deviled eggs to both taste wonderful and look handsome, then you should add a common ingredient that's almost definitely in your kitchen right now: butter. After all, butter is responsible for allowing buttercream cakes and cupcakes to maintain their gorgeous shapes when sitting at room temperature. And it can do the same thing for deviled eggs. Of course, there's also the fact that butter is pretty undeniably delicious.
Again, butter.
Adding butter to the mix doesn't require any changes to typical deviled egg recipes. You simply need to throw in a little bit of room temperature butter to the ingredients in a typical recipe, and then mix everything up as usual. For a pretty flair, try piping the egg yolk mixture into the egg whites instead of adding the yolks in with a spoon, because the butter will give the yolk mixture a more solid form. The mixture will then hold the shape of the piping. Every variety of cheese has qualities that make it memorable. Cream cheese, for example, is known for its tanginess and smooth as silk texture that makes everything from jam on toast to deviled eggs taste just a little bit better. As a complement to the mayonnaise, its creamy tanginess does absolute wonders. Mayo already imbues deviled eggs with a degree of tanginess, but its taste isn't quite on the same level as what cream cheese offers. Start with 1 tablespoon, though you may want to add more. Experimentation is encouraged here. This isn't a case of less is more.
More is more.
Other ingredients that you can add to balance out the taste and make it more memorable include a dash of vinegar, a little Dijon mustard, some white or cayenne pepper, and a dash or 2 of paprika for a colorful garnish. In delis around New York City, millions of hungry diners order tuna sandwiches with one special ingredient: hard-boiled eggs. But to enjoy this magical combination, you don't have to head out to the Big Apple. Instead, you can do it up yourself in your very own kitchen. Just mix the tuna into the egg yolks and then enjoy bite-sized portions of this popular pairing. Add some chopped up red and green onions, a little Dijon mustard, and plenty of creamy mayo to bring it all to life. If tuna isn't your thing, try a variation of this recipe with salmon or chopped chicken. Any leftovers will be safe to eat if you tuck them away in the fridge in an airtight plastic container with a lid. They'll be good to go for about 4 days. If they last that long, that is. If you grew up eating a typical Western breakfast of eggs and bacon, you may have to stretch your imagination a bit to think of eggs and curry in the same dish. But this combo is a big one in Indian cuisine. It consists of hard-boiled eggs immersed in a tangy bath of tomato sauce with a dash of curry to add some extra flavor. The deviled egg version does away with the tomato sauce and sees the curry go straight into the yolk and mayo mixture. Once the mixture goes into the egg boats, sprinkle a little powdered curry or chopped parsley or cilantro on top as a garnish. If you're an egg fan, you probably already know how tasty dill pickle relish is with egg salad. But if you're not into relish, a little dill weed will give you a similar flavor without the pickle chunks. Keep in mind that dill comes in both weed and seed form. Each has its own taste. But generally speaking, the dill flavor in pickles comes from dill weed. These seeds will give you more of a lemony flavor. But if it's lemon in your eggs that you want, it's probably best to go straight for a squeeze of an actual lemon. So your best bet is to opt with fresh dill weed instead of dried. Add the amount you want according to your own particular taste. If you're concerned about adding too much, start with a small amount and gradually increase it until your deviled eggs take on the precise dilly flavor that you desire.
Dilly dilly!
Huevos rancheros is a popular Mexican breakfast. It features eggs, usually sunny side up, on a bed of tortilla chips and refried beans, smothered with a blanket of spicy Mexican sauce. If you've never had it, it basically tastes like tacos with eggs. So if you're feeling spicy, then take inspiration from this breakfast classic and add some taco seasoning to your next batch of deviled eggs. The seasoning gets blended in with the egg yolks along with sour cream, mayo, and shredded cheese. And then it's stuffed in the egg whites as usual. And then a garnish of chopped green onions or a dollop of guacamole can elevate this variety to the appetizer Hall of Fame. Deviled eggs topped with bacon bits can make for quite the delicious and portable breakfast when you're on the go. When time is of the essence, you don't have to do anything more than simply sprinkle those bits on top of your eggs. But if you have more time, you can take this recipe from wholesome to completely heavenly by frying up some bacon and putting aside some of the grease. Once the grease cools, mix it in with the egg yolks, garlic powder, mayo, and other ingredients. Be sure to include the freshly chopped bacon bits. Or consider switching out the mayo for ranch dressing for a classic bacon ranch flavor combo.
It's time to ranch it up!
Finally, sprinkle it all with some chopped green onions or a dollop of sour cream to add extra flavor and color. Eggs undoubtedly play an important role in Asian cuisine. So if you're a fan of things like fried rice or egg foo young, then you can dress up your deviled eggs with some inspiration from the comforting flavors of the Japanese favorite of miso soup. With Asian deviled eggs, you're going to do something slightly different. Eventually, you'll cut the eggs apart and work with the yolks as you normally would. But first, you'll put the hard-boiled eggs whole into a marinade consisting of ingredients like soy sauce, cardamom, brown sugar, ginger, Chinese spice, star anise, and garlic. Marinate the hard-boiled eggs for 6 to 8 hours before proceeding. Once the eggs are done with the marinade, add the miso, mayo, white pepper, and honey to the egg yolks and mix them up. Then assemble the deviled eggs and garnish them with chopped green onions and seasonings. Some flavors, like eggs and cheese, just naturally go together. This variation of deviled eggs runs with that idea by including pepper jack, cheddar, and Swiss cheeses, as well as Velveeta. It's like a 4-cheese omelet, but with the devil inside.
Hi.
Hey, the devil.
Start by preparing the yolks. Crush them up in a bowl and add grated pepper jack, cheddar, Swiss, mayo, and other spices. Heat the Velveeta in the microwave until it's melted, and then pour it into the yolk mixture and mix again. Pipe the cheesy yolk mixture into the egg whites, chill, and later garnish with chopped green onions, paprika, and your other favorite spices. The final result will be the cheesiest deviled eggs you've ever made. Smoked salmon, or its counterpart of lox, which is cured salmon, is a popular ingredient alongside cream cheese on a bagel or as part of a charcuterie platter. Smoked salmon also works well with egg dishes like omelets, so it's not too much of a stretch to surmise that smoked salmon or lox would also taste pretty darn good on deviled eggs. This upgrade presents a lot of different flavor combinations that you probably already love with capers, lemon, and pepper, or dill, all showing up to the mix. Despite offering some pretty sophisticated flavors, the execution of this version of deviled eggs is fairly simple. Start by following your typical favorite recipe as usual. But then when it comes time to garnish the eggs before you serve them, substitute common options like parsley or cilantro for toppings like smoked or cured salmon, capers, and fresh dillweed. Cajun and Creole cooking are gifts to the culinary world from Louisiana. Although these two styles are associated with the same part of the country, there are some key differences between them. Nevertheless, they both embrace a love for different kinds of seafood, including crawdads, shrimp, and of course, crab. Additionally, certain types of spices like pepper mixes and paprika play important roles in these cuisines because of the complexities of flavors, as well as the use of local ingredients to form the base of the dishes. These styles encourage experimentation. That brings us to Cajun or Creole-style deviled eggs, which are a mashup made in heaven. To pull them off, combine flaked crab meat, spicy mustard, paprika, and mayo for the yolk mixture. Thanks to the flexibility of these cuisines, there are plenty of options for substitutions. For example, you can substitute Creole spices for paprika or spice up the mayo by adding a bit of sriracha to it. If you're feeling really adventurous, chop up some andouille sausage into small bits and sprinkle them on top of the eggs as a garnish before serving your crab-stuffed deviled eggs.